So why do games take so long to make? It's a great question. Games do take a very long time to make. I'm a developer myself, and I'm going to use my day today, working full time today, on my game to show you an example of why games maybe take a little longer than you think to create. So let's get right into it. So this is my game Rocket. It's an incremental game. You click on that little rocket, you fly up. I might as well show you actually. You fly up, you break a bunch of asteroids, you come down, and then you use the minerals that you got from those asteroids to upgrade and get further for next time. So today I worked on the exchange system. So there's a whole bunch of things you can do with these minerals, and one of the things is actually exchanging them for gold, and then you can do other stuff with gold that you can't just do with normal minerals. So that's this little guy here. So he pops up at a particular time. I actually haven't decided yet. You can see we've got here some new dialogue. I'll just like speed through this dialogue, but the way the way it works is we can see this screen here. There's quite a lot of information, but it's pretty much telling us that 100 amethyst goes to 5 gold, and then the price will fluctuate throughout the week. So currently we can see now, obviously the average is 5 just because it's only been one day. We're still on the first day. The maximum it's ever been is 5. The lowest is 5. This all actually wasn't working entirely last week, so I spent some time this morning actually fixing that up. What I can do is just like go up and wait for this. You'll also see there's no inventory there. I'll talk about that in just a second. But what will happen is once I run out of fuel and come back down to the floor here, you can see that it's actually gone up. So today it's 8. Yesterday it was only 5, as you remember. And you can see everything else is updating, and you can see this is, you know, massive. And then as time passes, as more days pass, you'll be able to get a visibility of how the price fluctuates for amethyst, and then it also is determined for topaz and kyanite, whatever else. So this took maybe less time than I thought it would to fix up. You can see this little guy pops back up as well. But previously it wasn't working, like this little axis wasn't working. And when I say wasn't working, like it wasn't displaying correctly, but it all fixed up, and that was about 11 a.m. So I'd only been developing for about probably 2 hours at that point. And then I realized, as you may or may not know, this inventory system used to be a lot worse. So you can see it is kind of still obscuring some information here. But before, it took up a whole lot of space. It was very unintuitive in my opinion of how it worked. It was very difficult to display more than one mineral at once. And so of course for this page, I kind of want to show the amount of gold you have and also the amount of whatever resource you have. And it wasn't flexible. It didn't let me do that. So I was like, all right, you know, I need to rewrite this at some point. Today's going to be the day where I'm going to rewrite this. And holy shit, it took a long fucking time. So the first thing was like considering how it actually should all work. And let me find the page here where I did that testing. So here. Okay, so here is the kind of trial and error I did to think about how an inventory system might look like. So obviously it happens in the corner. Then I think of, you know, like I need to consider the widest character. So 2 is the widest character in my font. So I need to make sure I've got enough space for that. I also was looking at the different color schemes and how I could display multiple, you know, different colors without it looking necessarily too incongruent, which is why I landed on this like dithering effect. I also want you to be able to iterate through, when you're at the home screen here, if you've got multiple unlocked, I want you to be able to iterate through. Actually, I should be able to show you what that looks like as well, but to pretty much be able to see at any given time, any amount of mineral you might have. So for example, if I give myself some, that's amethyst, if I give myself some minerals here, let's see. So I've just given myself olivine. So now I should be able to iterate through this list and give myself olivine. You can see it's still not quite working correctly because these should really be showing, I guess it doesn't really matter, but yeah. I was thinking these, as you can see from here, I was thinking these could show the color of the next mineral. I'm not sure, it kind of looks a little weird like seeing all the different colors lined up like that. So I don't mind how it looks like this when you've just got one color and then the arrows are colored based off that. I was also thinking, obviously, about the sizing of everything, and then I ended up putting it into what's called a HBox container, which is pretty much just like some like items stacked together, and then Godot does the organization for you. But it was actually really difficult to get this all working, and it looks all nice and clean now. But yeah, so this probably took about 6 hours, I'd say, to get working, probably even a little longer. Because there's actually so many different things when you're making a game. There's like all these different complex systems being put together. And I think there's kind of two ways you can go about it. You can either accommodate for every single possible edge case from the get-go, which means that you don't have to do refactoring like I'm doing now, but it takes a lot of time to lay the groundwork. Or you can kind of just build and refactor as you go, which is how I prefer to do it. It might not be the most optimal way, but when you do build and then refactor as you go, you can kind of get an understanding of what your requirements are rather than taking a wild guess at what they're going to be just from the start. Plus, it means like I can add content, I can add stuff without just like considering adding all of the base systems first, because I don't know yet what all the base systems are going to be. That is why game dev takes so long, because there's actually so many systems at play behind it, such as this little tiny inventory. And in reality, this inventory is actually made up of these containers, this row here, and there was a whole bunch of refactoring to do to actually fit this with the previous solution, because a lot of things interact with the inventory. And as you can see, it's still not perfect. For example, I wanted it now. Let's see. I wanted it to hide at particular times, which it's not doing here. I also wanted it to go sort of slightly transparent at some times. There's also other random shit that happens in game dev, which just like sucks time out of you. And I've got a really good example right now. So I'm just going to move myself here. You can see that there's this little 2 in the corner. That's the current day we're on. Now, I'm trying to click. There's actually a little cross button beneath this 2. But I actually can't click that. Instead, I'm clicking this button here. And if you don't believe me that there's a little cross button behind there, what I will do is I can actually disable that debug. Come to here, and if I click that, it actually closes. And then if I open this up, like you can see, there's definitely a cross there. But what will happen is if I show this debug text and I put a button behind it, for whatever reason, my mouse is not actually interacting with the close button. It's interacting with the button behind it. And it's a little kind of edge case. You might just think like, oh, it's the order of things. It's this and that. But again, like when you've got so much random shit going on at once, it's really, really hard to like nail down where these little sort of tidbits of shit is coming to. So yeah, game dev can take a while. And as for what I've done today, so like I finished fixing this, I reworked that inventory system. I even created a to-do list at the start of the day. Sorry for the flashbang of stuff I wanted to get done. I was able to get most of it done. This exchange I was pretty happy with, like that's all working. Adding the dwarf, but yeah, now there's stuff I want to do next week. So yeah, as I said last week, I won't give too much away, but definitely looking for a way for the player to actually be able to use this gold that they're going to get over time. And yeah, thinking of some interesting ways that might like spice up the variation and even potentially promote like multiple playthroughs, which currently is not the case. But also just something else, because these videos, if you haven't seen them before, they're just kind of a ramble of what my game dev life is going. So interestingly enough, how much money I made on Steam video like randomly popped off for just a really brief period of time. You can see here that got quite steep. So I think it got like 400 views a day or every 2 days or something like that for a little while. So it's really weird, like this YouTube thing, because videos like this, I guess it kind of makes sense why they're doing well, but they don't necessarily, like, they're evergreen content. And what that means is that not only are they initially like clickbaity, but also over time, you know, there's always going to be an audience for this kind of video. There's always going to be people searching up how much money I made from my game, because people want to, instead of actually making a game, they just want to know how much you can make, because people are kind of insane. But then if you look at, for example, like another video, so this is a devlog, I think this is my best performing devlog, 900 views, and it completely flatlines. So it's really interesting, like that balance between making a devlog. Obviously, like this is what I enjoy to do, but also trying to make it kind of promote for a little longer. But at the end of the day, I mean, I make YouTube videos mainly for myself to reflect on. But yeah, that's it. Like and subscribe. That is why games take so long to make. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Go play the demo as well if you haven't already. Yeah, see ya.